morning, student. I, Purnima, welcome you to my English class, and I'm going to continue the same lesson, the tsunami. Now, students, I've already done the first part, but again, let me revise the important lesson. Tsunami refers to a very large and powerful waves, as I told you. It is caused by some earthquake, which comes under the sea. So tsunami is caused by earthquake which comes under the sea. One such calamity hit several countries on December 26, 2004. So one such calamity was there in which the tsunami attacked many countries on December 26, 2004. The worst affected part were coastal parts of India, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Thailand. So, which were the worst affected part? The worst affected part were some of the coastal part of India, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And children, Thailand was also affected. Tsunami refers to a very large and powerful waves in the sea. It is caused by some earthquake under the sea. One such calamity hit several countries on December 26, 2004. The worst affected parts were coastal parts of India, as I told you, the Andaman and Nicobar Island, and Thailand. At least 1,50,000 people lost their lives in tsunami, but animals suffered very few casualties. Perhaps they had sensed the coming earthquakes and they ran to safer, higher place. So children, if we compare the human being, the death rate of human being and animal in the tsunami which came in December 26, 2004, it was a human being that there was a lot of death due to tsunami of human beings rather than the animals. There is a reason behind it. So this lesson requires, but animals suffered very few casualty, very few animals they died. Okay, perhaps they had sensed the coming earthquake and they ran to safer high places. It is believed that the animals they suffered less casualties rather than human beings because it is believed that it is believed that the human being, they are not sensitive. If we will compare to the animal, they have the power of hearing is much more than our human being. So this was the reason that many people they died in the world when tsunami came. This lesson recounts a few stories of bravery and intelligence when the tsunami hit the Andaman. The first story is about Ignatius, the manager of a cooperative society in Kachal. So now children, in the first part of the lesson, so many stories are there in which many people died, many people swept away the by water. Few lucky persons were there and how they were saved. These people, how they were saved. So this lesson recounts a few true story of bravery and intelligence when the tsunami hit the Andaman. The first story is about Ignatius. He was the manager of a cooperative society in Kachal. He was woken early in the morning by his wife at 6 a.m. only, and she told him that she is feeling that an earthquake is there, and he was the manager of a cooperative society in Kachal. And children, when his wife woke him up at 6 a.m., the family rushed out of the house. and even he realized that tsunami or some natural disaster is going to be there. So all the family members, they rushed out of their house. When the earth stopped shaking, the sea started rising. And when the earth stopped shaking, the sea started rising. The wave washed away his two children and in-laws, but his three other children were safe because they were with him. Sanjeev was a policeman. This is a second story. So Sanjeev was a policeman, and he managed to save himself, his wife, and daughter from the wave. But soon he heard cries for help from the wife of John. He was the guest house cook. He jumped into the water to rescue her, but then bad luck, both were washed away. So in this case, you can see he was saved also, but to save the wife of Mr. John, who was a guest house cook, he was swept away by the water, and in this manner, he lost his life. Then, children, comes a real story of a 13-year-old Meghna who was carried away along with her parents and 77 other people. Okay, so she was carried away by um, carried away with water along with her parents and 77 other people. She held on to a wooden door, but you can see children, but something else was written in her destiny. A door was floating and she caught hold of that big wooden door. Okay, and the worst part of her life was that she did not die. The door was floating and she was also floating along with the door. 11 times the rescue helicopter flew overhead, but they could not spot her. They could not see her. However, she was brought to the shore at last by a wave. Then, children, so she, in her destiny, though 11 times the helicopter did not spotted her, but then also she was saved because it was written in her destiny. Um, she did not die. So she was lucky enough to be saved. Almaz Javed was a 10-year-old student of a convent school in Port Blair. So something is written by about Alma Javed. She was a 10-year-old student of a convent school in Port Blair. Her family had gone to another island to celebrate Christmas. Alma's father saw the sea waves receding in the morning. They understood that the wave would come back with force. He tried to take his family to a safer place, but her father and grandfather were swept away by a giant wave. Her mother had her mother and aunts were washed away. Alma climbed onto a big log of wood, um, but then she found herself in the hospital. So in this manner, she was saved. So two girls, okay, Alma Javed and Meghna, they were reported to be saved. Now, children, today I will be telling you we will be reading about the second part. In the second part, there is a storm from Thailand. The Smith family was celebrating Christmas at a beach resort. And the parents had two daughters. The water kept coming in on 26 December 2004. But little Tilly Smith sensed the danger ahead. She recalled the geography lesson that tsunami could be caused by quakes, volcanoes, and landslides. He called her family to get out of the beach. Her parents went up to the third floor of the hotel and survived. Thus, her geography lesson saved their lives. While humans lost their lives, wild and domestic animals sensed the danger in time. Elephant ran for higher ground, and the dogs, birds, and zoo animals looked for safer place. Perhaps animal possess a sixth sense. They feel the tremor long before human release. So not many animals were reported dead. At Yala National Park in Sri Lanka, no dead body of animals were found, while 60 were washed away. So this all I told in short, and we will be reading in the second part of the book. So let's open our book, The Tsunami, page 20, 27. 27. Okay, so Tilly Smith. Tilly Smith, uh, a British schoolgirl. So you can see the picture of Tilly Smith also in the book, and she is a little schoolgirl from Britain, was able to save many lives when the tsunami struck Phuket Beach in Thailand. So children, in Thailand, a beach was there, and the name of the beach was Phuket Beach. Though she has won a number of awards, she has won number of awards. Her parents have not allowed their daughter to be interviewed on television and made into a heroine. Why do you think they took that decision? Now here is a story from Thailand. The Smith family from southeast England were celebrating Christmas. Now, children, let me tell you the story of uh, um, Tilly Smith. So they went to Thailand to celebrate Christmas at a beach resort. So they were staying at a beach resort in southern Thailand. Tilly Smith was a 10-year-old schoolgirl. So how old was Tilly Smith? She was 10-year-old schoolgirl. Her sister was 7 years old. Their parents were Penny and Colin Smith. So the name of the parent is there. It is Telly and Colin Smith. It was 26 December 2004. Deadly tsunami waves were already on their way. They had been triggered by a massive earthquake off northern Sumatra earlier that morning. The water was swelling and kept coming in. Penny Smith remembered the beach was getting smaller and smaller, and I did not know what was happening. Do you know why the beach was getting smaller? Because the waves were rising and they were coming towards the beach. That's why the beach was looking smaller and smaller. But Tilly Smith sensed that something was wrong. Tilly Smith noticed that something was wrong. Her mind kept going back to geography lesson. Now, children, suddenly she started thinking about the geography lesson which her teacher was teaching. She still remembered her TEL classes and the videos. Okay, and the same shift was taking place in England. 2 weeks. So she started remembering, her mind kept going back to geography lesson she had taken in England just 2 weeks before because she flew out to Thailand with her family. So children, she was with her family. She remembered the videos 2 weeks earlier in England when she saw the video in the school. Until you saw the sea slowly rise. In that video, she was seeing the same scene which was happening before her. The sea was slowly rising and start to foam. Foam means white bubbles were forming. Bubbles and foam whirlpool. Then suddenly she saw children the bubble and the foam. They were whirlpool. The water was taking in the dancing in the circular motion. Uh, She remembered that she had seen this in class in a video of a tsunami that had hit the Hawaiian island in 1946. The same type of video she had seen in the class, and she remembered in 1946 the same thing happened on the Hawaiian island, which had hit the Hawaiian island in 1946. Her geography teacher has shown her class the video and told them that tsunami can be caused by earthquake, volcanoes, and landslide. And children, her teacher, class teacher, had shown her the video of tsunami, mm, which causes earthquakes, volcano, and landslide. Lily started when she saw all this thing was happening in front of her. She started screaming at her family, and she told every to get off the beach, and she shouted and told everybody to get off from the beach. She talked about an earthquake under the sea. She started telling this is an earthquake under the sea. She got more and more hysterical. She got more and more hysterical, said her mother, Penny. I did not know what tsunami was, but seeing my daughter was so frightened, I thought something serious must be going on. Now, children, when the mother saw this, she felt that why her daughter is shouting like this. The mother became more and more serious. I thought something serious must be going on. Tilly parents took her and her sister away from the beach. Now, children realizing that the way Tilly shouted, her father, he took both the daughter Tilly and her sister away from the beach to the swimming pool at the hotel. And children, they ran towards the hotel where swimming pool was there. A number of other tourists also left the beach with them. When they started running, the number of tourists, many tourists, even they started running, and they went to the hotel. Really, Tilly parents took her and her sister away from the beach to the swimming pool at the hotel. A number of other tourists also left the beach with them. Then, then it was as if the entire sea had come out after them, and suddenly, children, a large wave, many large waves came after them, as if the entire sea was running after them. I was screaming, "Run!" And children, really, father, he told, "Run." The family took refuge in the third floor of the hotel. So they went to the third floor of the hotel. The building withstood the surge of three tsunami waves. Okay, surge means force. So children, three times the tsunami waves came to the hotel. The whole building was shaken. The building withstood the surge of three tsunami waves. If they had stayed on the beach, they would not have been alive. And children, the waves were so high that if they would have been staying in the beach, surely they would have been swept away by the water and must have died. The Smith later met other tourists who had lost entire families. Thanks to Tilly and her geography lesson. Now, next day, children, when the father came, he remembered that many other tourists they had lost their entire family. Um, the credit goes to Tilly and her geography lesson. So he thanks to Tilly and her geography lesson. They had been forewarned. They went back to her school in England and told her classmate her terrifying tale. Now Tilly, when she went back to England, she told this terrifying tale to everybody. Now, children, there is a question answer. We can discuss the question answer here. Okay. Uh, Comprehension. Check page number 28. Why did Tilly family came to Thailand? Tilly family came to Thailand to celebrate Christmas. What were the warning signal that both Tilly and her mother saw? Both saw the sea rising and it started to foam and form whirlpool and bubbles. Do you think Tilly mother was alarmed by them? No, Tilly mother was not alarmed by them. Tilly had seen the strange sea behavior in a. Do you think Tilly's mother was alarmed by them? No. Where had Tilly seen the sea behaving in the same strange fashion? Tilly had seen the strange sea behavior in a video. Where did the Smith family and the others on the beach go to escape from the tsunami? They went to the third floor of the hotel and were saved. How do you think her geography teacher felt when he heard about what Tilly had done in Phuket? They went to the third floor of the hotel and they were saved. No children. Where did the Smith family and the other on the beach go to escape from tsunami? They went to the third floor of the hotel and were saved. How do you think her geography teacher felt when he heard about what Tilly had done in Phuket? So she felt very pleased and satisfied. Okay, so this is the question answer we have done, and you can write it in detail also. I've discussed the main points. Now, children, we will be doing the third part of this chapter. Look carefully at the picture of the boy and his dog. Now you can see the in the book you can see on page number 29 a boy is sitting with his dog and try to describe the things which you see. So you can see children, sea is there, okay, fisherman boat is there, using just words and phrases. Either the teacher or one of the student can write down the words and phrases on the blackboard. Okay, so you can start children. Calm, blue sea, ruined huts. Okay, so before the giant waves swept into the coast in India and Sri Lanka, wild and domestic animals seemed to know what was about to happen. Now, children, one characteristic of animal is there that they will, mm, that these animal, they know what was going to happen. They fled to safety according to eyewitness accounts. And children, they knew in advance that something worse is going to happen. The animals, they have got sixth sense. All the animals, they have got sixth sense, and they knew what will be happening. They fled to safety according to eyewitness accounts. Elephant screamed and ran for higher grounds. Dog refused to go outdoors. Flamingo abandoned their low-lying breeding areas, and zoo animals rushed into their shelters and could not be entered to come back. Many people believe that animals possess a sixth sense and know when the earth is going to shake. Some experts believe that animals' more acute hearing help them to hear or feel the earth vibration. They can sense an approaching disaster long before humans realize what's going on. We cannot be sure whether animals have a sixth sense or not. Okay, so I will be explaining the first paragraph. Second paragraph, before the giant waves slammed into the coast in India and Sri Lanka, wild and domestic animals seemed to know what was about to happen. So when tsunami came, children, it was not only wild animal but domestic animals. They come to know before in advance that what will happen. They fled to safety. Many animals, they were safe because they knew what is going to happen and they fled to safety. According to eyewitness accounts, elephant screamed and ran for higher ground. Children, according to eyewitness, they told that and all of a sudden an elephant started screaming and they went to the higher ground. Dogs who love to go out outside, they refuse to go outdoors. Flamingo abandoned their low-lying breeding areas. Flamingo children they left their low-lying breeding areas, and zoo animals rushed into their shelters and could not be enticed to come back out. And children, all the animals which were there zoos, they went inside their shelter, and they don't know what to entice to come back out. Many people believe that animal possess a sixth sense and know when the earth is going to shake. Children, many people, animals, they know that when the earth is going to shake. Some experts believe that animals' more acute hearing helps them to hear or feel the earth vibration. They can sense an approaching disaster long before humans realize what's going on. So we cannot be sure. Now, children, it's sure that we human we know we don't know, but the animal, it is the animal who can judge that what is going on. We cannot be sure whether animals have a sixth sense or not, but the fact is that the giant wave that rolled through the Indian Ocean killed more than 150,000 people in a dozen countries, but not many animals have been reported dead. Along India's Cuddler's coast, where thousands of people perished. So now in India, children in the coastal area, many people they have perished. Buff, buffaloes, goats, and dogs were found unharmed, but few animals like buffaloes, goats, and dogs, nothing happened to them. Now, one story about the Yala National Park, which is there in Sri Lanka. The Yala National Park in Sri Lanka is home to a variety of animals, including elephants, leopards, and 130 species of birds. So, in that park, children, many types of many elephants are there, leopards are there, and 130 species of birds are also there. 60 visitors were washed away from the Patangnala beach. Now, children, the very same day at least 60 visitors were washed away from Patangala beach inside the park. But no animal carcasses were found. Carcasses means dead body of the animal. So no animal carcasses were found except for two water buffaloes. Except for two water buffaloes, about an hour before the tsunami hit, people at Yala National Park had observed three elephants running away from the Patangala beach. Now, when tsunami was going to come, children, three elephants they ran away from. People had seen three elephants. They were running wildly from the Patangala beach. A Sri Lanka gentleman who lives on the coast near Gali said his two dogs would not go for their daily run on the beach. They are usually excited to go on this outing. Now, one of the fellow who were having two dogs, even he told that his dogs were not ready to go outside the house because though um, they like running in their daily, they would not go for their daily run on the beach, so they are usually excited to go on the outing, he said. But on that day, they refused to go and most probably saved his life. Actually, on that day, the dog even refused to go and their life was saved. Now, uh, question answer of page 30. In the tsunami, 1,50,000 people died. How many animals died? So very few animals died, as animals have sixth sense and they don't came out. And some of the animals like elephant, they judged that tsunami will be there, so they ran to save their lives. How many people and animals died in Yala National Park? In Yala National Park, at least 60 visitors and two animals were washed away. They died. What do people say about the elephant of Yala National Park? People said about the elephants of Yala National Park that they ran from the beach an hour before the tsunami hit the coast. What did the dogs in Galley do? The dogs in Galley refused to go to the beach for their daily exercise, and in this way, not only the dog but they also the master life was also saved. So, student, we have done the question and answer. Okay, then working with test question number 3. How are Meghna and Alma's stories similar? Meghna's and Alma's both were lucky. Meghna's was carried away with her parents and other people, but she alone survived. So she was washed ashore by a wave. Alma climbed onto a log of wood. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in the hospital in Camorta. So these two girls were lucky enough; they children they were saved. What are the different ways in which Tilly parents could have reacted in her to her behavior? What would you have done if you were in their place? Tilly foresaw the danger of tsunami once she became hysterical. Her parents did not ignore her. They were sure that something wrong must be going to happen, so they all left the beach and were saved. If I were in place of Tilly parents, I might not have believed her. I might have scolded her for making a nonsense situation. If Tilly award was to be shared, what do you think she should share it with? Her parents or her geography teacher? It is very obvious Tilly award should be shared with her geography teacher. Her parents could not guess the tsunami was coming. What are the two different ideas about why so few animals were killed in the tsunami? Very few animals were killed in tsunami. Perhaps they feel the tremor much before than humans do. Secondly, the animal have sixth sense. They can guess the coming disaster and so run away to safer place, higher ground. The idea that the animals are gifted with the sixth sense is more believable. They move fast to get over the crisis, and this we have seen in the tsunami also. So, with this, children, I end my video here. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.